Here it is, 10 tricks to make you a 2024 Excel master. We're going to start with pivot tables, one of my favorites. So you want to do some data analytics, something that sums these up. You don't want to build a bunch of SUMIF functions and all that. The first thing you do is you take your data source, click anywhere in it, here, 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 or here, it doesn't matter. Then you go up to the Insert tab, click that, and go right to the left, Pivot Table. And right now we're going to make this in a new worksheet. So it's going to make a new tab down here. Excel will create that. And if you wanted to have it on this table or this page, you could go existing worksheet and just click where you want it. So the table would show up right here, but we're going to do new worksheet. So you get this blank table, but on the right here, that's where everything is. And all this, so you see rank, player, position, age, team. These correspond to the column headers in the original data source. So right here, rank, player, position, age, team, and so on. And it goes all the way down the exact same order. So you just take the one you want. So we'll do team. We'll drag it into rows, and all you do is drag it. You can also click it, and it'll usually pop into the one you want, but I like to drag it. Then you'll take points. Let's see how much each team has scored. Click that, drag it into the values. There we go. So these are alphabetical. If you want to sort it Z to A instead, right click anywhere in this one here, the left column. So sort Z to A. But maybe instead of that, we want to sort it by the number of points. Click here. Same thing, right click, sort largest to smallest. So it looks like Philadelphia, Oklahoma City, Chicago, New York Knicks, and so on. So after that, you can add a little bit more here. You can do, let's say, 3-pointers. Okay. Add that to values. They're the 3-pointers. And if you want to change those around, so 3-pointers and then points, you just go right here, drag one of them to in front of the other one, and you'll see your table adjust. So there's a bunch of other things you can do with these as well. Like you can format. One thing I like to do is you click this Design tab up here. So you'll notice Pivot Table, Analyze, and Design. If you click outside, they disappear. Click back in, they pop up. So we click there, Design, and you can do things like this. If you're going to send them off, hey, make it look a little pretty, let Excel format it for you. Not your problem. It looks good. Another thing you can do is called slicers. So you just go in your Pivot Table, click Insert, same tab as Pivot Table is on, Slicer. And what do we want it for? Let's say age. And we'll also do, let's go with position. Hit OK. And you'll see these two things pop up. You can just click them, drag them wherever you want. But maybe you want to see this data source exactly like this, your pivot table, but you want to see how the centers are doing. There are all the centers. Power forward, point guard, shooting forward, shooting guard. There you go. You can also hit this, the X filter. It removes that. And maybe you want to see everyone who's 20, 21, 22. And also if you hold Shift and click, you can do multiple. Same with Control, just like any other Excel cell selection. Maybe you just want to see everybody who is over the age of 30. So we just scroll down here, hold Shift, click there, and there you go. So that's it with pivot tables right there. There's going to be some pivot charts, things like that as well, which we'll go through now. So Data, Insert, Pivot Chart, same tab, Insert, Pivot Tables on the left, Pivot Charts on the right. Click that, press OK, we'll make a new worksheet. And we're going to do the same thing, build it exactly how you want. So Team, Points. And you'll see it comes up with a chart right here. And that chart is tied to your pivot table. So any changes you make to this will be made to this. So right here, I want to add, let's see if we can do, oh, you know what? Here, we will add position. So you see it gets a little clogged. Pivot charts are not great for capturing all of the data. It's great for showing that one piece of information. So we'll take position, we'll drag that out. What you can do though is the same thing we just learned there. Slicers, so insert, slicer, and we'll do age and position again. Press OK. They pop up. And instead of just your pivot table adjusting, you'll see your chart adjust as well. So centers, power forward, and so on. 21-year-olds, there's only centers and power forwards. You'll see that one table will select the other table. So you won't have any data that doesn't correspond here. These are all interlinked. So it's a great way to maximize your time and really cut a lot of the work out and let Excel do it for you. Next, we're going to get started with some lookup functions. We'll start with VLOOKUP, one of my favorites, the classic, the tried and true. So let's say we have a list. We want a list of all these players and we want to be able to pull their stats, but we don't want to have to go through here and look over here and double check all this. You want a quick reference. The first thing we'll do is make a list. So here you go to Data, Data Validation, and Data Validation. And the whole time we've got the cell where we want the list to show up right there. We've selected that. So then any value, drop down menu, select list, and the source, all we're going to do is select everything we want. Press OK. And now this will be any player you want here. You can also type things in. That way you don't have to scroll through everything. So maybe you want to see Lillard. There you go. You can do it by first, last name. So let's see, yep, Fox. There it is. What we'll do now is use a VLOOKUP. So the first one equals VLOOKUP. And the great thing about a VLOOKUP is when you couple it with a list, it automatically updates everything. Same with index match, match, which we'll go through in a second. So VLOOKUP, you pick the value that you want to find. We want to find this name. That's easy enough. Comma, table array. This is where you want to find everything. So think about it like there's a treasure map. This is X. What's the X going to lead you to? So we will select, starting with a name, this one all the way to here. We see that there's 29 columns, which you can see in that 50R times 29C or by 29C. So I do that. Select F4 or you press F4 and it locks the cells down. Now this is a table. You don't have to do that with a table, but it's a good practice to learn. Comma, and what we want to find is the position. So the column index number, name, that's the first one, column 1, column 2. And just remember with this function, you don't want to use B, C, D, the normal functioning or the normal naming convention. You have to go numerically with the VLOOKUP. So first column is the name, that's what we're looking up. Second column is position, 2. And then you want to find an exact match. So you can do true or false. You can type those in. So you can go true, false, or you can do 1 for true, 0 for false. I prefer 0. Close the parentheses, hit enter. So Fox, point guard. And where is he? Fox is a point guard. So let's say we change it to, who's first? Giannis. All right. He is a power forward. What do you know? It updated. And here's your next one, index match. So index match is great because it solves one problem with VLOOKUP. So right here, we're going to insert a column. Your VLOOKUP breaks. Oh no. Index match does not have that problem. That's why I like it. So you're going to do this index. What do we want to find? We're going to find the age. So what we'll do is select all of these in the age column, comma, match. We're going to find this value. And then where are we going to look that value up? Right here. Comma, 0 for exact. Then we close it twice. There's that one. Now we'll do index match match, which is by far my favorite and I think the most flexible. With index match match, it's a two-way lookup. And all that means is this. Index, so we're going to select our area. The whole thing here. We don't have to worry about which column. We don't have to be specific. No, it's going to do the work for us. Match, we want to find that row number. And in the name, that's the row. So the row 2, name, row 3, name, and so on. So we'll find this value. The lookup array is right here. Exact match for 0. Now we'll do the column. So match again. We want to find points. Comma. And you just select the columns. 0. Close it out. There you go. So we'll test them all out. We'll make sure that this works. All right. Everything seems to be updating. Fantastic. So let's test it out. Lillard, 1411 for points. And Lillard, 1411 for points. Okay. He's 33. He is 33. He's a point guard. But the reason we use index match instead of VLOOKUP usually, insert. If you watch this column get inserted here, you will see that this one with the VLOOKUP is going to break. There we go. So you'll see that this one is still looking to that same column number 2. So that's kind of the issue here. VLOOKUPs are definitely easier to learn. They're definitely easier to use. The problem is 2 things. The first is it's very memory intensive. So if you have 8 VLOOKUPs in a spreadsheet, it will slow this thing to a crawl. That's why I started using index match in the first place. But the other thing is this is a stronger lookup. It will always find you the right data. It will let you know. You can add columns, remove columns, change data sources, and it will flexibly change with you. So it is, in my opinion, a far better lookup. If you could do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, it'd really help out the channel. Now we'll go into something a little bit more fancy, conditional formatting. It's definitely not hard, but it is going to be helpful. Let's say you wanted to find the top 10% of point scores. So what we'll do is sort this Z to A, just so it's a mixed basket. This gets sent to you, and you get asked to find, hey, tell me which scores are in the top 10% of this. All right, so you'll select points right here. You'll go to Home, right on that Home tab up there, Conditional Formatting, and you'll go with Highlight Cell Rules. You can do that, or you can go Top Bottom Rules. The 10% is an easy one because it shows up right here. But you do that, and then it'll give you the top 10%, and green. So you'll see that these are green. You can also change this around. Maybe we want the top 15%. Hit OK. And there they are, the top 15% of scorers. Then you can go right to this filter, select, and you can sort by color. There's your top 15% right there. So another thing you can do after that is let's talk about filters in general. So let's say you have a bunch of data like this. You want to add filters. Now you can do it just like I did, where you select everything, use the hotkey, which is Control-Shift-L, and it adds those filters automatically. It takes them off too. Or you can do it the way that I learned initially. Go to the Home tab, click that, Sort and Filter, Filter, and you've got them. There you go. One more thing we'll do is with pivot tables, get a little fancy with them. So we're going to insert a new pivot table. So Insert, Pivot Table, press OK. And we'll do, let's see, Position, Points. So we have all the centers. We have, zoom this in, all the centers, everyone here. Great. We'll sort again, right click, sort, largest to smallest, okay. But maybe we want to see an average. So right here, this is the sum. How do you change that? Well, you just click this triangle here, value field settings. It gives you a whole menu of these. So average, click that. There we go. You can format this how you want. So if you go to Home, say number. So there's the average point scored for this position, that position, and so on. And you can do that with a bunch of other things. So another thing you can do, let's say blocks. Blocks is going to give you the sum, but here's the average. So you can do multiple different things with it. So maybe instead of blocks, I want to see, or instead of the sum, I want to see the max. So what's the most what are the most blocks any one of these positions has gotten? Just show me that value. Right there. Center is 117. Sounds about right. And you can see that with pivot tables, really, it does the work for you. They're amazing. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that, I don't know, it's just not more commonly used, I suppose. But pivot tables are fantastic. And again, you can add your slicers. You can have slicers on these factors, those factors, anything you want. Pivot tables are just unbelievable, as are these other lookup tools. So index match match, that's your best friend. Creating lists is great. And yeah, pivot tables, charts, all that good stuff.